Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a massive shift in finance. Seriously, a change that could let you own a piece of just about anything, from skyscrapers to startups. Let's get right into it. I mean, really think about that for a second. What if you could own a tiny slice of that new high-rise downtown? Or a fraction of a famous painting you've only seen in museums? Or get in on a private company that was, until now, completely off limits? This isn't some far-off sci-fi concept. It's the future of finance being built right now as we speak. And you know, what we're witnessing here isn't just another passing trend. No, this is a deep, structural rewiring of the global capital markets. The very idea of what an asset is, how we trade it, and who gets to access it, it's all being re-engineered from the ground up. So this new financial frontier, it all starts with a pretty simple but incredibly powerful idea. Taking the physical stuff all around us and turning it into liquid, digital opportunities that just about anyone can invest in.
Okay, so here's the key term you're going to hear a lot: real-world asset tokenization, or RWA for short. Think of it like this. You've got a huge asset, say a commercial building. That building is like a locked treasure chest. Well, the token is the digital key, and by creating these keys on a blockchain, we can securely and efficiently chop up ownership and trade it.
And we're not talking about small stuff here. We're talking about massive assets, real estate, private equity deals, huge infrastructure projects, priceless art. You know, things that have always been the playground for big institutions, simply because they're so illiquid, meaning they're a real pain to buy and sell quickly. Tokenization is being designed to completely shatter that barrier. But for all of this to actually work and be safe, it needs a serious engine. And that engine is the Security Token Offering, or STO. The key word here is regulated. This is a revolution where compliance is the absolute game changer. So an STO isn't just about minting some token out of thin air. No, it's a completely legit, legally compliant process that plays by the existing rules of finance. The token is treated as a security, just like a stock, which means investors get real legal protection and a whole lot of transparency. And this is what really separates STOs from let's call it the Wild West of the ICO craze a few years back, right? ICOs operated in this murky gray zone with basically zero investor protection. STOs, on the other hand, are built on a solid foundation of regulation, and they're backed by actual real-world stuff. That's the difference, and that's what builds the trust needed for serious money to come in. And honestly, that trust is everything. This whole regulated approach is what's creating the bridge, the connection that finally lets serious institutional capital flow from the world of traditional finance into the digital asset space with some real confidence. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but how does this regulated revolution actually play out in the real world? Well, for that, let's zoom in on a really interesting test case happening in Europe, Hungary. It's a fascinating story of community, capital, and, well, the challenges of compliance. See, in Hungary, the push for this change isn't really coming from the top down. It's bubbling up from the grassroots. Cities like Budapest have this incredibly vibrant scene of meetups and events, where a super passionate community is building awareness and really laying the groundwork for innovation. But, and it's a big but, there's a major challenge. You've got this massive community momentum. The energy is through the roof. The problem? A serious lack of domestic funding. There's just not enough local capital to fuel all that local enthusiasm. So why the gap? Well, it comes down to two main things. First, capital migration. The most promising startups often have to pack their bags and move to bigger hubs like Berlin or Zurich just to get funded. And second, there's a bit of regulatory uncertainty. The EU is rolling out these big new crypto laws called MiCA, and a lot of businesses are just kind of waiting for the dust to settle before they make any huge moves. It's a perfect snapshot of a challenge you see all over Europe, really. That tension between local innovation and the need for clear, continent-wide rules. The challenges we see in Hungary really paint a much bigger picture. So let's zoom back out for a minute and look at the global implications of this tokenized future and what it all means for investors like you and me. You know, the road to making this mainstream is actually pretty clear. It all starts with successful pilot projects that prove the tech works. Then you see the public sector get on board, using it for things like super secure land registries. That builds legitimacy, which paves the way for clear regulations and, finally, bam, full integration into the global market. And for the average investor, oh, this changes everything. We're talking about fractional ownership, so you don't need millions to invest in a skyscraper anymore.
We're talking global liquidity, the ability to sell your asset to someone on the other side of the planet instantly. And we're talking about markets that never sleep, 24/7, with a level of transparency that's literally built into the code.
This all brings us to a really crucial point. This whole movement isn't about burning down Wall Street. It's about giving it a massive tech upgrade. The idea is that the future of finance isn't about replacing the old systems, but making them way better, more efficient, more accessible, and more transparent through technology. So all the pieces are falling into place. The tech is ready, the rules are getting clearer, and the big institutions are definitely taking notice. All the building blocks are here, which leaves us with one final, pretty mind-blowing question to think about. Will the next Wall Street be built on the blockchain?